Welcome to Book Buddies. Today I'm continuing my journey with the inheritance cycle with Eldest. This is the sequel to Eragon, which I reviewed a couple of months ago. And while I will be leaving Eldest spoiler-free in order to properly review it, I will be going into spoilers for Eragon. So I would recommend reading that or watching my review for that book before this one. But anyway, overall, I really loved this book. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the first book, but I think this was a really worthy sequel to it, and I look forward to diving into it today. So a lot of this book is sort of dealing with the aftermath of Eragon. Eragon is now sort of the chosen one. He is closer with Saphira, and a lot of people are counting on him to essentially save their kingdom from Galbatorix, who is the evil king. But it's harder on Eragon, especially because in the first book he kind of just wanted a simple life and then was thrown into this entire adventure when he found Saphira's egg, not knowing that was an egg, or even gonna become a dragon. And of course we saw a lot of the consequences that came from him finding the egg, which notably included the death of his uncle, who was also like his paternal figure. And we see more of that in this book, specifically how people expect greatness from him, but Eragon still kind of wants this normal life, even though he's aware that people are counting on him and he can't really back out of this fate. Something I really loved about this book as a sequel is we get to see more of the world of the story. In the book, Eragon goes to Elsmira, which is the world of the elves. Arya previously lived there, and we learn a lot more about not just elves, but also dwarves. And we see how Eragon sort of learns about their culture, and he's a little bit more hesitant about some aspects, but he's also diving into different aspects. And we get to see a lot more of Arya in this book, which I liked because I thought she was a really fun, interesting character. And in the last book, she was primarily unconscious for a good chunk of it and didn't really become a main player until maybe the end at most. So getting to see more of her backstory and how she's dealing with Eragon's role in her life now, especially because I believe there's a moment when Eragon's kind of talking about their relationship. Something I didn't love about this book as much is I don't know if Saphira, the dragon, was dealt with the best. I mean, I was just thinking about all the things I really loved about this book and didn't love, and Saphira didn't pop up as much, which is a shame because she's a really great character. She's the dragon, the one who set Eragon on this whole quest. And I feel like she wasn't bad in this book, I just feel like she wasn't as memorable as she was in the last book. Something else that stood out about this book was the point of view characters. Because I believe in the first book it is just Eragon's point of view the whole way through. But here we get more than his point of view, which is a little bit of a mixed bag. We have Nasuada, who is leading a rebellion against Galbatorix, and I didn't dislike it, but I was never really as caught on to her section compared to Eragon's story, because another point of view character that we get to see in this story is Rowan, who is Eragon's cousin, and whenever we get hop back to him, I really enjoy it. It's not as grand compared to what Eragon is going through, because Roran is normal. He doesn't have the dragon, but we really get to see the consequences of Eragon's actions towards him, because Roran lost his father, he also lost his home, and he just wants a normal life. He wants to be a farmer and marry Katrina and have a good life with her. However, because of everything that happened in the first book, he doesn't really think that can happen. And of course, with Saphira on the loose, people are trying to hunt her down, and they're harming a lot of people who Roran and Aragon knew and lived with. So we see Roran kind of have to like stand up and be a leader and like protect a lot of people of their country from the villains. And that leads me to another really interesting part about this book was the relationship between Roran and Aragon. We don't get a lot of scenes between them, but it's a pretty complex relationship where Roran is very clearly mad at Aragon for what he did, you know, finding a dragon, not revealing it to the right people killing Roran's father because of it, and losing the home, and now Aragon's just run off. He's not dealing with the consequences of his actions according to Roran, so Roran's very understandably mad at him, but at the same time he's thinking, Aragon's my cousin, we're basically brothers and everything except blood, I can't get too mad at him. And we also get to see how Aragon feels about Roran, and it leads to one of the big, beautiful gut punches of this book. I won't go into too many spoilers, but it is near the end of the book, and it ties back to this idea of family and the found family, because Aragon grows quite close with people in Elsmira, and they're starting to become a little bit more familial as they're teaming up together to fight Galbatorix and save their kingdom. So yeah, those were all of my thoughts. Not as good as the first book, but really great book nonetheless, and I think if you read Aragon, really enjoyed it, definitely pick this book up. You will not be disappointed. If you enjoy this, please share it with your friends. I'm Louisa Hammond, and I'll see you next time.